Hello, Maruti. Can we start? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Abhishek, I think we should start. Let's start the session. Those who are not able to join, we will share them the record. We will provide this recording and hope we will get more attendees in the coming up sessions.
Okay. Let's get started.
Okay, everyone. Whoever is here in the event, good morning to everyone. I am Maruti, currently leading GDSE SIT, and we have Abhishek S, who is the facilitator for the Compose Camp program. So, what is all about Compose Camp? Google launched something called as Jetpack Compose, where you are allowed to build nice looking UIs with a simple code and a concise code. That was all about Jetpack Compose, and Compose Camp is all about making you learn Jetpack Compose. Uh, so from now on, Abhishek will be taking over it, and he will guide you through the uh, ABCs of Compose Camp and also installing the Android Studio in your development environment. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Maruti. So, guys, let's get started. Welcome to the camp. Okay. On the day one of the Compose camp, we will be learning about Kotlin basics and some installing out Android studios and some of the building basic layouts on the Compose camps. My name is Abhishek S. I'm a Compose camp facilitator and also a Android development lead at GDSC SIT. So basically, what is Compose Camp? I think I'm audible, right, Maruti?
Go on, you are audible.
From my side, like what is Compose Camp? It's a community organized events focused around how to build Android apps using Jetpack Compose. So it's on you know that regular Google has officially announced that the Kotlin will be used for Android development, right? Before that, the XMLs were used, but it was hefty because whenever you want to change any layouts of the app, you need to physically go in and just change the code and something do like that. But in Jetpack Compose, it's a declarative UI toolkit, right? You just tell him how to look and what to do. I mean, you don't need to look like align this element properly on the screen or in the big screen or in a watch, Android watches and something like that. You just need to tell this Compose camps how you need to look it. So instead of going manually and changing in the XML and Android XML, you can just use the Compose camp. It's also a pretty fast building, pretty fast after it builds. I mean, during the build time, it may take some time. After the build, it is his performance is more better is better than the XML, which or any other traditional Android development toolkits. So in this, why Jetpack Compose? So you have to write less code instead of writing a hefty of number of tags and other code in the Kotlin or in the Java or in the XML. You need to write just a simple code for the Jetpack Compose to build an UI. uh, about this building an UI, you will be knowing in the further sessions or in the further camps. So it's more intuitive. Just describe. You need to describe the UI state. So how the UI need to be looked during look in your Android apps or in the watches or in the big Android TV or something like that. So accelerating development. Since you have to need to write a less code, and also there is a options for the preview display. So what it does this, whenever you done with some of your work or you need to know how the UI looks, there is a preview option in the Android Studio development. So if you click on that, you will get to know the how the app looks, how development it is there, so you can make some adjustments over there itself. uh, what happened in the traditional XMLs or in the Java, like you need to recompile, or every time you need to change something, you need to build entire thing. So it will be like more burden to your machine as well, and it's very time consuming. So Jetpack Compose that nullifies those disadvantages and can is more powerful also. So we can build a beautiful apps. It will be native to the Android development. It's also gains more support, and it's scalable and more efficient. And also performance is also very good in this Jetpack Compose. So prerequisites are nothing but just need a computer, some basic math skills, and Android device or a USB. But it's not necessary. It's also emulator is also available in uh, the Android Studio itself. So, what are the objectives of learning? Let's get started. So, set up Android Studio on your computer. So, learn some basic Kotlin programming language and about the Jetpack Compose and creating a beautiful apps, whatever you decide. Uh, so Kotlin is nothing but an open source statical type programming language, which was recently made as the official Android development language by Google. So Jetpack Compose is nothing but an Android modern toolkit for building native UIs, and it simplifies and accelerates UI development on Android Studios and Android apps, and quickly brings your app to life with less code, powerful tools, and intuitive Kotlin APIs. There are lots of libraries. Google is extremely focusing on getting this Jetpack Compose, making lots of event on this Jetpack Compose. There are so many libraries available for Jetpack Compose. So guys, let's get started with it. So let me just open, stop sharing and reshare the whole screen. So Google has offered a Kotlin playground, which is nothing but an online compiler for Kotlin. So let's just open that. There are a bunch of activities in this Kotlin. Before that, I will let me just share you the link of the this training session, Android Jetpack Compose training link. The link is in the chat box, or you can open it now, or you can just go through it. Go through with this course. It's an course. Let me just go on with the introduction with Kotlin. Let's just go through with the basics of Kotlin. There are also excellent optional videos we can learn. So how there will be explaining of how the elements are working in there. Uh, so Kotlin is nothing but a improvement in Java. So Java had some many issues, which is not very friendly, coder friendly, because in order to write a println statement, you just need to call so many functions like class functions and public static void functions. It was very heavy coding, so they came up with a Kotlin language. So basically, just like to print something, you just need to you have a main functions over here, and then declare a variable or a print statement is enough for this. So just like this here, the function main function is enough, and the println statement is used to print the anything into the compiler. So you can declare many functions and also has input parameter, whatever the parameters you need to pass into the function that can be used in this body, or you want to use this using this body can be passed in the inputs. After once you completed the course, there will be a quiz section over here, so you can take quiz and earn badges. So like I have done so if I get sign in, I will earn some of the badges. As you can see, you will get a badges which can be displayed in your developer profile. So if I go to my developer Google account, choose this developer profile, so you can showcase your badges over here. So whenever a interviewer wants to check your Kotlin development skill, so you can display your badges over here. So these are all the badges that I have earned from this course. Wait a minute, guys. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. Okay, moving on with the slide. Is the slide visible, Maruti? Hello. Am I audible?
Uh, the slide was not visible actually, but yes, but you're audible.
Uh, uh, let's see. Is it now visible? The slide.
The screen is visible, but I'm not able to see this.
Okay, let me.
Just stop sharing and start resharing. That might work.
ತಗೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇಡತ್ತಾನೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ. Hello. Is it now visible? Hello.
Yes, Abhishek. Yes, Abhishek. It's clear. Go on.
Okay. As I said, you just need to Kotlin function, main functions. You can print all the stuff, and in order to print, you need to use a println or the print function. So declaring a function, you just need a function a keyword called as function fun function, and whatever the name of your function. So there are two types of conventions here. So I will say this in the later session, but there is a composable function which is used to describe the UI. So whenever this comes up, it should start from a capital letter, or any for any normal function, it small cases should be there. So moving on with declaring a variable. So I don't need to explain all these things because you are aware of this. What is a variable and how to declare it? So declaring in a Kotlin function is that there is something called as val and var. So val and var. So val is something that cannot be, it's an immutable thing, so it cannot be reassigned in a one composition. So what is var? So var, we can initialize and reinitialize this integer variable whenever we want. The val is not cannot be reassigned. It's an immutable type. So you will be having your variable name over here after declaring var, val or var. So you will be, and after that you will be declaring the data types of the name or the variable. So I have declared like value, name, and string. So the name is a variable of type string, so only the variable strings like uh, can be stored in the name. And age is of a var type and can store integer values. So okay, I have stored like 19. So in order to print this variable, you just need to use an dollar symbol operators in the println function. uh, me get headed onto the Kotlin function, just declaring a valuable val name of type string, Jetpack Compose. In order to print this string in a sentence, so I'm declaring a println statement. So welcome to Jetpack Compose. I mean, I have to want to print this. So the name of this Jetpack Compose is stored in this variable. So how to print this variable? You need to use an ampersand in your print statement, and then declaring the name variable. So it will be displayed like this: welcome to Jetpack Compose. This is stored in this name. Similarly, if you want to know the property of this property of the variable, so you need to use the curly braces over here. It will be displaying the length of the name. uh, I hope it's clear. And there is also a type called as guinea. So you cannot if you don't know the data type that this variable going to be stored, you can just represent it as an any variable. So it will just assign it accordingly in the runtime itself. Okay, since it is a length, any it doesn't know what property to apply, so you can have it here. Okay, think I've covered all the topics over in this first unit. There are some practice problems for you to practice. They will be given some of an error in this questions, and you just need to fix it over here. So this is how the concatenation of the strings are done here. Just need to use the plus operator. As you can see, the dollar sign should be used to call the variable in your print statement. Moving on to the next module. uh, let's just download and install Android Studio. But I have already installed Android Studio. Just let me guide you to how to download and install your Android Studio. So for the Windows system, there are some system requirements. So it should be a 64-bit and x86 64 CPU architecture with second generation or higher, or 8 GB RAM, and go through with this all this requirement. And then uh, there are also instructions to how to check these informations in your respective PCs or laptops. So if you go to the Android Studio download page, so you'll be getting download options over here and download Android Studio. Just accept the license agreement and then you can just download it. So for the Mac OS system, there are some pre-requirements you need to check in. And there will be an Android Studio download page over here as well. So you can head over here and install the download options. Since I'm using a Linux operating systems, I'm just going to download it here. The process is very similar over here. So you can just download or run the command over in your terminal. So after installing, this will be the pop-up uh, starting screen. So the accept all the license agreement and do wish to select your choices, and then uh, choosing standard options. You'll be installing all the required files to the Android Studio. You can choose the dark theme you want in the Android Studio also. So on clicking next, all the pre-required softwares will be downloaded and tools will be included also, and also the emulator settings. Let me just open you the Android Studio and let me show how it works. How to create a file or a project. This will be the starting page for Android Studio. So you can just create a new project over here, or open an existing project, or can take the share whole screen itself. Not getting shared. So once you click on the get from VCS, you can pull your uh, projects from your GitHub or any other platform like Google Cloud or Mercurial, and subversions like that, or other version control softwares. So on creating new project, it's going to ask for your what type of layers you need to print. So there is a material 3 Jetpack Compose which is in still experimental. So go through with the stable one, the empty compose activity. Choose your application name. It may take some time in the beginning. So as you can see, this is the starter file for the Android app. Uh, it's taking some time for building the Gradle over here. So after that, I can show you the preview. So this is the main class activities. So you are overriding the onCreate function. There are several uh, functions that runs on those Android apps. This is one of them, and onCreate. You will learn this more about in the future sessions. So this is a surface. You are declaring a surface to show up. So it will be having a color called material theme and color background. This is some of the default values. And a modifier used to set to fill the whole screen. That is fill max size. So it is calling a function called as a greetings function. So I've told you that there is a composer function and the normal function. So for the composable function, there will be a you need to start the function name with the capital word, that is big letter. So for a normal function, you just need to uh, use function word and a small letter should be declared. So this is a normal convention that the developer follows, Kotlin developer follows. It will be easier for everyone to follow this code and know which is composable and which is not composable. So there's a text component over here, and told to display hello name and a variable passed to it. So for displaying the name, the dollar sign is used. So the parameter that name comes from is called by this greeting function called in here. It's passing the Android as a string parameter. So it's expecting a string, so the string is passed. So the text is printed over here, the hello and name. So this is a preview function. In order to get the preview of this app, you need to declare a preview. Without this preview, there will be a no preview. Let me just show you the preview over here. It may take some time depending upon your system capabilities and performance.
Abhishek, as the Gradle build is still running, I think it might take some more time. Uh, you know, can you just explain the file structure, like how it maintains? I can see that there is an app folder and there is something called as manifest and there is Java. So where exactly we are going to write the
Sure,
.kt file and also the assets, the images and all those things. I think that would be helpful.
sure, Maruti. The one thing about Android Studio is that there are multiple views of this folder. So there is a project view, there is a package view, uh, there is a project file view. For the developer convenience, there is also called as Android view. It makes simpler to managing the files over here. So this is the manifest where the ordered Android XML manifest XML files are found over here. Uh, so you will be writing the code in here, the main activity. So every composable main function, main composable will be starting from this main activity. So every other screen. So there, you know that the Android apps has many screens. So when you navigate to the one screen to another screens, you will be creating a file from here to all those files using left click on this thing and then creating a new file called as Kotlin class file. So we can declare over here, can name the file. So this will be a home screen, or this will be a transaction screen. So you can declaring the values over here, or the screen particular screen names over here. uh, so every main function will start from this function, so that is on create functions, and every the starting screen is called from here. So there are some when you go to the UI.theme, there are some default values like colors, which will be using which we are going to use in this project, or the shape that you want to give, or the theming values. So for the dark theme is different, for the light screen theme is different. So this is the material theming I told you. I told you here that like material theme got color and background. So when once you go to the
So no
theme
matter
over
how many
here,
screens we want, every time we need to
uh,
create a code.
like it would be better by creating a Kotlin file, because you cannot put everything onto a single file, and it would be a mess in finding out which screen is belongs to which part of the code. It is recommended to create a different Kotlin files for every screen.
So later I can call that in main activity.kotlin.
Yeah,
Is it so?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, or you can have a separate Kotlin file that manages other Kotlin files. So when you call this main activity, when the main activity runs, it will call that main Kotlin file. So from that main Kotlin file, you can call other screen Kotlin files. So I hope you got it. Or
Yes, Abhishek. Even I just wanted to make sure that understand that how Kotlin is containerized or modularized, making them handle single component, easily manageable and debug when required. I think the preview is open, so we can move on with the session.
okay, then let me go to the preview. Also, this is the preview. As you can see, the variable, the name called as name, is displayed in this preview. So we can just Jetpack Compose. So in order to refresh it, sometimes it auto refreshes. Sometimes you need to manually refresh the screen. This makes very simple in Android development. So you can see the design in your code, left part of your code. So there are different views in this Android Studio. Like you want to see the code part is visible. You want to see the splitted part, the split part is visible. Okay, this is okay. You can see the real time update is going on. This is a preview. This is how you print in the preview. So this part goes for your Android thing, Android emulator. So this is for the preview purpose. So if you comment this, there will be no preview. So preview component is very important to get the preview. Or you can also have a multiple preview over here. So let me declare a different preview. So we got two previews here. One says HelloFresh Jetpack Compose. Okay. Need to change the name as well. Sometimes there will be a problem like issue in rendering, so you just need to refresh the preview once again, or sometimes you need to log out, exit the window and then restart the Android Studio. Okay. Okay, let's just continue. Sometimes this happens, just need to refresh, but it will take some time. So coming to the resource part, there will be image part. So whatever the image you need to display, uh, either it is in XML format or in the PNG format or in the SVG format, it can be stored in this resource file or the drawable folder. These are some of the other resources like launcher icons for various versions of the Android Studio and Android apps. Actually, so these are some of the values of the colors, so you can display over here. So as you have seen in like color.kt, you have declared a purple 200 as a variable, uses a color component, color functions to declare. So this is the color value that this purple 200 going to store. So these are some of the string resources. uh, Everything about this section will be learned in the next session. I think it's enough for today. For this session, let's just continue with the evening session. I hope everyone should download this Android Studio for the upcoming events. Okay.
Thank you, Abhishek. I hope it was an informative session. Uh, Attendees, if you have any questions regarding the session or anything in general, or anything related to registering for the events, you're free. Feel free to ask it. We're happy to help you. I think for attendees, they won't be able to, uh, unmute yourself. Chat is the only mode of communication that we can do. So you can ask questions in the chat. Abhishek, you can stop sharing the screen. Huh. I hope there is no questions that are available. Uh, as we come, as we are at the end of the session, so I would like to announce that we are having a 6 hour long hackathon, which will be in collaboration with 50 plus GDSCs. So it will be huge, and we have very good sponsors. So stay tuned for the hackathon. Do participate in sessions so that you and apply the Scotland skills in the hackathon. And we have amazing prizes from all the way from Amazon gift vouchers to uh, the courses at some platforms, and of course there will be goodies from our sponsors also. That being said, thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you in the next session as well. uh, Happy learning.
Hello.